So let's move on to phase 2, discovery. Small to medium business ITC alignment begins with the type of business you are, or what we call vertical market segmentation. So the infrastructure and your network needs to support the type of business you are. On the left, you see some common, what we call vertical market groups, and within each, you will find several vertical business segments. For example, in hospital and healthcare, a vertical business segment might be doctor's offices. So again, the infrastructure begins by supporting the basic type of business you have and the specialized internal user applications and the unique caller access needs of that type of business. ICT alignment in small business is built on what we call a sustainable business model. Traditional business hierarchies and silo organizational structures are all being done away with virtual business environments. Set up in a very simple structure. First of all, you have the front office functions, or what we call business performance. They have a top line impact, sales, revenue, profit on the organization. And they are things like organizational leadership, strategic awareness, marketing, sales, customer service, and all of that. Over on the right, you have what we call the back office or business operations. That's your bottom line impact, cost, expense centers, savings, cost reductions, prevention, and so forth. Here you have human resources, business finance, so forth. And here is where in your business plan under operations and facilities, you would identify your ICT and network alignment plan. So what we're saying here is that the information and communication infrastructure and network needs to support this balanced business model. And it's built on integrating voice and data infrastructure that supports the sustainable business model, drives goals, objectives, mission, and plans. An infrastructure that responds to internal users, market demands, and customer expectations to drive front office performance and improve back office operations while controlling and cutting costs. Move on to discovery. ICT alignment is a mission-critical business strategy. And as you see there on your right, there is a form that if you'll download, it talks about the alignment process on the front of the form. And on the back is what we call a readiness worksheet. In other words, it is now a good time for you to evaluate your ICT infrastructure and network and potentially upgrade it or replace it. And here are the 4 basic questions you want to ask yourself. Do I have a need right now, a motive to change my current situation? In other words, do I have problems that need addressing immediately? Do I have the desire? Do I really want to change right now? Am I willing? Do I have opportunities that I can leverage by upgrading my infrastructure? Ability, am I able to change the system? Do I have the decision authority, or is the decision authority in my office? Do I have adequate funding if replacement is required? Do I have committed financial agreements that I can't get out of on the current system? We need to look at that. And am I prepared to move into some new financial agreements or contracts, if you will? Criteria, do I understand what my buying objectives are and criteria? And we're going to help you with that one. And lastly, opportunity. Are you ready to change the current situation now? Is this a good time in the next 3 to 6 months to do an evaluation and make a change? ICT alignment integrates technology solutions with software and applications to help companies meet priorities, harness challenges. Aligning with industry expert partners like ComNet can help you navigate current trends and options in technology and network connections. Staying with discovery, we found that businesses today have several internal information and communication challenges listed here on the left. Many of them are caused by an obsolete infrastructure and network. Some may be caused by the external forces of change we talked about, but these are common challenges that businesses are experiencing that relate to their voice and data technology. On the right are some very specific challenges that the infrastructure and network can be causing. Your infrastructure costs, your network costs are out of alignment. Usage and management costs are out of alignment. The infrastructure is just not reliable anymore. Your phone systems or your data networks are crashing all the time. They're not serviceable. If they do go down, you can't get them up quickly, and so forth. And primarily, the last one is current technologies or older technologies more than 10 years old typically do not have a migration strategy and cannot move to new technologies. These challenges fall into three categories, again, problems, needs, and opportunities, and they can create, whether they're indirect information and communication challenges or direct infrastructure challenges, can create hard and soft dollar negative financial impact on the company. In other words, they can cost you customers time, productivity, and money. Staying with discovery phase 2, there are different formats of information. We've just listed a few here. Obviously, business education, your industry perspectives, whatever industry you're in, marketplace research information, company-specific information, systems, processes, so forth, competitive intelligence, customer databases, and so forth. That information can all be acquired, stored, transmitted in several different mediums, and businesses today need to be able to do that over an integrated infrastructure, voice, text, data, and so forth. Because as we know, timely and accurate information and data are a business's most valuable asset, next to the people who must have access to that information and communicate effectively to add value to the business. Staying again with discovery, we're going to move on to what actually is your ICT infrastructure and network. As you see, it includes services, both phone providers, your telephone network, internet providers, so forth. It includes cable distribution within your office or premise. It includes premise hardware, phones, equipment, and so forth. Mobile devices that your employees may be using, software, operating systems, applications, and users. We find oftentimes that many companies, feel that their current system is working effectively and is not causing any problems, so any cost to replace it would be redundant. And what we found that because of the rapid evolution of technology, if you're not evaluating and probably replacing your technology every 5 years, it is costing you money. And oftentimes any investment in a new system and network can be offset by top line and bottom line hard and soft dollar impact of a more responsive, cost-effective network. And one of the reasons for that is the new pricing models. You don't buy equipment anymore. You basically invest in software licenses. So many times, if you do an effective evaluation, we can provide a system and a network that's much more responsive, that can generate cost savings at much reduced cost over your current network. Move on to phase 3, assessment. What does that mean? Basically, there's 3 levels of assessment, what we call a needs analysis, where a company like ours would come in and analyze the information and communications flow, collaboration, productivity, and so forth at these levels of a business. You see executive level to support management decisions and so forth, business performance, or front office level, revenue and service centers, business operation, cost expense centers. Today's user, internal employee user, vertical market applications, as we discussed, remote office user, and external mobile user. There is a form in the forms package, again on the landing page for this webinar, that talks about needs analysis and evaluation criteria for a new system. The next element is what we call a hardware assessment. There is also a form there that allows you to assess your current hardware and network. And on the back of that is what we call a cost audit worksheet that allows you to take a look at your current costs and see if they're in line and what you're spending, so we can do a cost analysis and show you some savings or a more cost-effective solution. Design, let's move on to phase 4 design. What are your actual alignment options? Well, there are several, and we'll start by talking about the alignment process or the alignment decision. First of all, the misalignment of ICT infrastructure and network can create many challenges, as we've talked about in the business. It can be costly challenges. It's a mission-critical business strategy. In other words, today, this alignment is mission-critical to the business, and it's meeting its goals and objectives. It's a priority business opportunity. If you haven't done it in 5 years, you need to do it now. It's a solid business investment that will return quickly on that investment and have a significant impact within the organization. It creates a powerful business tool instead of just a telephone system or a data network. It's a high-impact decision, and what we mean by that is if you make wrong decisions or delay decisions, it can have an impact on the business. If you do decide to make a timely decision and it's the right decision, it can have a very positive impact on the business and measurable impact. It's a high priority process for ComNet and our whole team if you in fact do decide to evaluate and replace or update your network and your infrastructure. Over on the left are, of course, options. You can reconfigure your current system, and we support several systems, Mitel, Intertel, and several others. So we can often do reconfiguration for you, enhancement through software or applications, upgrade through hardware, or migration to a newer technology. Obviously, relocation if you need to move the system, or if you're adding a location, a remote location or something to the system or the network. Replacement, meaning that you replace the whole system, either independently inside the premise, you have an independent voice, independent data system, which many companies do, or you converge them down into what we call a converged or an integrated system over one common network backbone. Or migration from a premise to a cloud environment or some sort of a hybrid cloud premise environment. So there's a lot of options alignment once you do your evaluation. And the ComNet team is ready to help you with any of those. Staying with phase 4 design, this slide shows several deployment strategies. See over on the right is your premise or office. You can have parallel systems, voice data on separate cable, or you can have converged systems, or you can have cloud-based systems through a hosted server. Then you go out over your public network or your cell network or the internet or the cloud to a remote office or to your mobile employees. So there's a lot of deployment option strategies.